what's up you guys, this is Rob from A Gay Guy Plays, and today on my adventures in playtesting, I figured it was about time to shed some light on the 120% physical damage mods. Now there seems to be a bit of confusion as to how they work, if they're worth it, and when to use them. So let's call this one Physical Damage Mods Debunked. Okay, so let's start off with the way physical damage mods work. First and foremost, I need to clarify the fact that they do not work the same way as elemental damage mods do. Elemental damage mods take the entire base damage of a weapon, then apply their damage bonus on top of that. So if a weapon has 100 base damage, and you apply a 90% elemental damage mod to that, you will be granted 90 points of elemental damage. Now, physical damage mods will only grant bonuses to a weapon-specific physical damage type. So, let's say a weapon has 100 base damage, but only 10 points of that being slashing damage. If you applied a 120% slash damage mod to that, you would only be granted a bonus of 12 points of damage. Also keep in mind that this bonus damage does not count as base damage, and thus does not improve equipped elemental mods. So this basically means that a weapon has to have at least 75% of its base damage in a specific physical damage category, in order to give you an equivalent bonus to a 90% elemental mod. Anything over 75% will grant you more physical damage. However, there's another thing to keep in mind. Physical damage mods cannot be combined into any more powerful combos. When it comes to damage bonuses, at their best, they will be granted a 50% bonus, as compared to an elemental combo, which as many of us know maxes out at 75%. So if we go back to the original equation, if a weapon has a base damage of 100, a single 90% elemental mod when used as a part of an elemental combo on the appropriate enemy type will deal 157.5 points of damage. Which means that a physical damage mod would have to be equipped on a weapon with at least 88% of its base damage in a specific physical damage category for its 50% damage bonus to surpass a single 90% elemental mod when used in a combo. So for those of you who watch this channel enough, that's why you always hear me say, be sure to equip the appropriate elemental combo in order to deal the optimum amount of damage. Now I'm definitely not saying that physical damage mods are completely worthless. Well, the ones that cap at 30% definitely are. On very specific weapons, when used against the appropriate enemies, they can shine as splash damage. However, for those of you who don't follow my mentality on modding weapons, it starts with improving base damage, adding in multi-shot, selecting the appropriate elemental combo, followed by the quality of life mods such as fire rate or critical mods, and finally closing it with splash damage, if you happen to have the space. Now, I don't mean to put anyone on blast, but one of the weapons that I hear this used a lot on is the Dread. How the fuck are you gonna fit this on the Dread? I legitimately ran this build through Warframe Builder, altering mod configurations, and the only thing I could get rid of to increase its damage output with a 120% slashing mod is to toss Speed Trigger. And you must be sick in the brain if you think I'm gonna replace Speed Trigger on my bow. Some people would argue to replace Heavy Caliber, however, Heavy Caliber is a base damage mod and will also increase the damage dealt by the elemental mods as well as the 75% damage bonus, so that's a no. Now as you can see, the 120% physical damage mods hold a very limited space in the grand scheme of modding. For them to work optimally, you're limited to using very specific weapons against very specific enemies, and honestly, depending on the situation, a Bane mod can either match or surpass the damage they put out. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some weapons they absolutely shine on. While I personally don't use it in my build, this works quite well on the Opticore, and it's definitely an arguable addition to the Boltor Prime. Surprisingly, there's a decent amount of melee weapons that carry a focus on specific damage types, such as the Dragon Nakanda with 85% of its damage coming from slashing, and the Bow Prime with 90% coming from impact. So, now that you've seen the numbers, the way you choose to handle your weapons is all up to you. So thank you all for watching another episode of Debunked. For something a little more lighthearted, check out my review on the Twilight palette, and catch some life advice on the issue with Burrow Katir. Now don't forget to do all the things that I ask you to do at the end of every one of these, and as always, stay tuned for more advice on what to slot in, here at A Gay Guy Plays. Is it me or do the corrupted bombard rockets kinda look like golden sperm? And is it wrong that I kinda like it?